Hello everyone, this is Joanna the Medium and welcome back to my channel. These are going to be readings for June 2016. First and foremost, for all of you who are watching and subscribed, for all of you who have emailed and commented on all my readings, particularly in May. I've had literally hundreds of emails and comments for my May readings. I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate this, and I always say I'll appreciate it more than you will ever know. But I just want to make sure I give you my gratitude for being on YouTube and growing. Keep in mind these are general readings, so they may not apply to everyone, and actually probably will not. That would be quite unusual. Also, keep in mind that it's sometimes useful to listen to your rising sun and your other signs, as these will perhaps sometimes or some months offer more of a complete package of what is happening in your life. Sometimes your dominant sign or your sun sign may not be telling you a full story certain months, and some other times the other signs will complete the picture for you. As far as May is concerned, there was a bit of a turbulent waters in May, even though it was more peaceful than the last 4 or 5 months prior to May. I am being shown June to be much more celebratory. There's an aspect of social gathering, family gathering. I see people cheering, weddings, birthdays. I see a lot of outside social events. But we are coming up to the summer months, so obviously that kind of goes with the territory. But the message is that it is going to be a month filled with laughter and joy. Particularly, I want to say the mid to the 3rd week of June is what I'm being shown, and then I'm being told the word weddings, and also baby showers. So, whoever you are, you will understand what this means. I don't think there's anything else I want to address. And of course, if you would like to book a reading, you can contact me through my website, which will be down below in the information, or just simply email me at info@joannathemedium.com. And again, I want to thank you so much for all of you who have booked readings with me. You keep me hopping and keep me busy, and that is something that I'm absolutely grateful for and about. So without further ado, let's get started with each individual reading. Okay, I'll see you in a moment. Hello and welcome back. This is going to be a reading for the sign of Scorpio for June 2016. My apologies, I am battling a bit of a cold. I've been putting away recording these, but I can't put it away any longer. Otherwise, you'll never get it in any kind of reasonable amount of time. So if I have to stop in the middle of the recording because I get a hack attack, just disregard it and just work with me this time, okay? I just want to get these out to you as quickly as I can. It's probably going to be a little bit late anyway. So, just like the last couple of months, I'm going to ask Spirit for any message preceding me turning the cards over. So just give me 1 second. The child within needs nurturing. It has been a long time since this child within felt any nurture from you. And then I'm seeing the number 8. And I'm going to leave the number 8 for you to interpret. But somehow the child within and the lack of nurture, there is number 8 circling around it. Okay? It is for that very reason why negativity has seeped into your mind and heart. The child within needs nurture. just like a mother nurtures its child when it is unable to care for itself. For as long as you neglect nurturing the child within, you will always find yourself in situations where resentment and anger is abound. And then I see the word blame, as in blaming others for how you feel. And again, I'm seeing the number 8. I also hear the word dad. I don't want to interpret this because there could be several different interpretations. But hopefully this will make sense to you. Okay? Now, let's flip the cards over, and I always hope that the message in the cards corroborate the message that was given through Spirit. So the card that represents, let me just close my email so it doesn't make any noises. Just give me 1 second. So the card that represents the theme or the situation that you're dealing with right now is the card called Rest and Rejuvenate. However, this card is shown to me in reverse. So I'm going to hold it upright. Sorry, I'm playing with my screen here just so I can see it better. This is a card pertaining to your thoughts. It's your thinking pattern. And when I turn the card over, he asks me to say the word restless. And it's restless thinking, constant worry, constant thinking. But this is not a productive thinking. This is counterproductive to your sense of self nurture and sense of happiness and joy. He's saying to me, there is nothing that is going on here that is productive with respect to how you want to feel. If anything, what goes on here is counterproductive to the very being that you are. And again, I see and hear the word negative thought patterns. Okay? So that's the first card. Very interesting. And that is actually consistent with the first message. Now, the next card represents past influences that still have an effect on this very card. We have the card called mental conflict. Another card representing your mental abilities or mental capacity, mental state. Mental conflict, well, this is self-explanatory. Number 2 is about choices. But in this instance, what I see is a person, and perhaps this is you, a person who's constantly going back and forth, 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 and driving themselves crazy. And there is no or very little rest in their constant worry and constant conjuring up of stuff in their head, in their mind. I hear the word fear. So a lot of these thoughts are fear-based, but I also hear and see the word anger, as in anger being projected out. So whatever fear you feel, you're projecting out with anger towards others. So very interesting. So this is what's contributing to you not feeling restful, okay, in your thinking department. The card that, I'm going to go back to this card. He's asking me to go back to this card. He says to me that you had choices and that you were aware of choices, as in what feels right and what doesn't. But he's saying to me, the dismissal of these choices was very quick because it is easier to go back to the old conditioning and the old patterns. So the moment of illumination was there at some point, but you chose not so much to disregard it, but you chose to not work hard at it, okay? Because changing our patterns is hard work. There's absolutely no question about it. It requires one to be aware. Without awareness, nothing can change. Once we're aware, we have to put in the effort to change it. Once we put in the effort for some time, then it becomes more of a norm, and the scales reestablish themselves or recalibrate. So there was a potential for you to see the difference, but for some reason you've chosen not to, okay? The card representing your future, that's a good card actually. The card is called Rejoice in Celebration. This is a suit of cups, so it is emotions. I believe it's 3 of cups in the traditional tarot deck. And I hear the word celebration, but I also hear the word family. So I don't know how this is connecting to what the cards that we just had, but the month of June is a time of celebration and family. I hear the word reunion. So perhaps this celebratory time will allow you to feel joy rather than to be stuck in your head and all your thinking, which is counterproductive to you feeling joy. So if there's something coming up for you in the month of June where you have a reason to celebrate, not only should you take advantage of it, do take advantage of it as much as you possibly can, because that can prove itself to be very healing. And he's saying to me, when you are in a moment of celebration, pay attention to what your body feels like versus what your body feels like when you're like this. Because if you're able to see between the two, the message couldn't be any clearer. It is going to be right there in front of you. And then it's a matter of you deciding, which way do I want to feel? And if you decide you want to feel this way, then you have to make an effort to work on this so you don't feel this way. Okay? Now, the next card represents the reason behind all of this. So, why do you feel the way you do? Why do you think the way you do? We have the card called Intuition. This is a major arcana card, but it was shown to me in reverse. This is a number 2, same as this, number 2. And the reason why you're in this mental state of an anxiety and mental state of unhappiness is because, and I want to chuckle about this, not because it's funny, but it's kind of, it's so obvious. It's almost like you're doing everything not to listen to your intuition. And there's a part of me that wants to say, but why? Your intuition is a vehicle that allows you, if you let it, to move through situations with much more grace and ease. But it allows you, but it forces you, but it asks you to make a different choice than what you've been making. Okay? But you haven't been doing that for whatever reason. Whether it's because you're so stuck on feeling this way, or you're so used to, being in that particular state of mind. Bottom line is, if you listened to your intuition, these things would not be happening. But you're not. And there is a feeling of reluctance to listen to your intuition, and there's a feeling of, I hear the word righteousness. So maybe you feel very self-righteous about, the things you have in your head. And I hear the word blame again. Remember, more often than not, the only people we have to blame is ourselves. That does not in any way, shape, or form mean that we do sometimes not feel victimized, because we absolutely do. It is what we do with that situation going forward that will determine whether we are a victim or whether we free ourselves and break ourselves away from what happened. So, do things happen? Absolutely. And I'm not saying you're to blame for that. What I'm saying is how you take that moving forward is very much up to you. Okay? And he's showing me a metaphor of someone who is in prison, physical prison in a cell. Even though they are in a physical prison, their mind can still be free to fly. So that's a drastic example, but it is, that's how it works. It's how we deal with the information and how we deal with our feelings and how we choose to proceed going forward. Do we choose to stay with what happened and carry that forward, or do we choose to leave it behind and move forward with a sense of freedom? Okay? And forgiveness, he says. Now, the potential of all of this, we have the card called hope. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So, I feel like this message is a bit of a lesson, and if it seems like I'm preaching, I certainly don't mean to do that. I think you know me. It's just I don't preach. It's just not what I do. But I often will give information that Spirit gives me that is very to the point, and sometimes it can feel a little bit, like it hits that right button, which may one feel a little uncomfortable. That's okay. Those are usually the moments that have the potential for the greatest change to happen. But let's go back to this card. 1 and 7, even though this is a major arcana, so this is what's happening within you. This is the potential of what can happen within you when you start listening to your intuition, when you stop your mental games, when you rest in your mind rather than being preoccupied and restless. When you choose to do all this, there is hope. And without hope, there is nothing. I believe each and every one of us has to have hope to keep going, especially when moments are dark, especially where situations that are unwarranted happen. Those are the moments where if we don't have hope, it can be very dark and very distressing. Perhaps for some of you, being in this mental distress is causing you to feel depressed. If you're constantly dealing with mental upset, it can excuse me. Sorry. It can produce feelings of depressed-like symptoms. But a lot of it has to do with how you interpret the information within. And if you listen to your intuition, if you allow yourself to be honest with yourself and not feel self-righteous, hope is the card that is being shown to you as the promise or the potential of what can be. And he's saying to me, for you, to remember that you are not here to suffer. the suffering for the most part is brought onto you by you, or it's brought onto by yourself. And he says most of us do it without giving it a conscious thought. We just do it. But if we paid more attention to what we think based on what we feel, and if we found a way to let our mind work for us, not against us, we would find that the hard times we move through much quicker, and they don't last as long. And he says, prolonging of a difficult situation is often, if more often than not, a choice that we make. Now, I'm not talking about someone who is stricken with cancer, for example. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a completely different subject. I'm talking about how we think and our conditioning. We have a choice about our thought process. And some thought processes can break us, and some thought processes can make us. If we paid more attention to the process that makes us, we would not feel broken the way we do. Okay? And he says to me, in the simple terms, it is very much about positive thinking. I hope this made sense to you. Please let me know via comments, emails, however you like. If you would like a private reading, because this is very general, of course you can reach me and with the information provided below, which I put down there for you for easy reference. And if this doesn't make sense to you, listen to your sun or moon sign, as these may show a clear picture of what's happening in your particular situation. I wish you wonderful month of June. Please feel more like this than like this. Make a conscious effort to do so, for that is the only way to be. Okay, and until July, I wish you again wonderful sunny June, and I look forward to seeing you again in a month or so. Okay, thank you so much, and see you soon.